Password and authentication. As we have mentioned in our previous section, it is important to have a strong password which follows the industry guidelines and best practices. This will make access to your system more secure and, more importantly, avoid the risk of unauthorized access, which can lead to a data breach. A data breach can in turn into a hefty fine by the Regulatory Authority for Data Protection, which is the ICO in the UK. One important point to make is to never share your login details with anyone else. If someone does not have access to software or system, there's usually a reason for that. Also, do not write down your password on a piece of paper or sticky note, which I have personally seen happen so many times. This is usually displayed somewhere easy for anyone to see. I know sharing is caring, but not in this case. Some useful guidelines when it comes to password protection. Hash your password. This is one mainly for the IT department to look into, but passwords should be hashed. They should not be stored as plain text. This process turns your password into a short string of letters and or numbers using an encryption algorithm. If, for example, a website is hacked, the hackers will not be able to gain access to your password. Separate the concept of user ID and user account. Keeping those two separate will help in avoiding breaches to your account. We should be able to change authentication factors without changing the personally identifiable information in the account. For example, we should be able to change our username and use the same email address, phone number, name, etc. It might be more practical to have a global identifier for every user. This links to the fact that users should be allowed to change their username. This is something worth looking into where access is granted to sensitive information. Again, this is something for the IT department to look into when setting up login details to an organization's IT system. Third point, using multi-factor authentication, MFA. This is a multi-step account login process where the user must enter a password and another piece of information to access an account. For example, it could be a code sent to your phone, to your email, answer a secret question, or using biometric authentication. Using multi-factor authentication creates an additional layer of security to assets of an organization. Number 4. Do not share your password. The examples discussed above have been technical steps to take, whereas this one is more of a practical step. Employees should not share their login credentials. Write it down on sticky notes or a piece of paper on your desk, or even in your paper diary if you use one. So there are more practical password management guidelines online which I would encourage you to look into.